Good morning, dear friends. As per request, here is a book called Dr. Ted. So I hope you take 2 cookies and feel better in the morning. Right, Dr. Ted. One morning, Ted woke up, got out of bed, and bumped his knee. That's not good, thought Ted. I need a doctor. He looked everywhere. Look, he's looking under the bed, in his closet, in the drawers, in the bathroom. No doctor. But he couldn't find one. And since Ted couldn't find a doctor, he became a doctor. Da-da-da-da! Dr. Ted. Dr. Ted didn't have an office, so he made one. Dr. Ted didn't have a big bandage, so he made one of those too. Now all I need is a patient, he thought. He sat and waited for one to arrive. He waited, and he waited, and he waited. Nice waiting room, thought Dr. Ted. Then he waited some more. Have y'all ever seen a doctor's waiting room look like that? Does it just have pillows and a rug? Is that what a doctor's waiting room looks like? That's not what mine looks like. Mine usually has some good chairs, at the very least, and some magazines. But, to each their own. I think it's time for a house call, he thought. Hello, he called throughout the house. His mother was in the kitchen. You have measles, said Dr. Ted. We should operate. Those are my freckles, said his mother. Now eat your breakfast. At school, Dr. Ted sat in the 3rd row of Mrs. Johnson's class. All around him, students coughed and sniffed and sneezed. Dr. Ted smiled. Patients, he thought. The patients were very germy. At lunch, Dr. Ted took their temperatures and measured their blood pressure. He gave them fine medical advice, and they were very thankful. Dr. Ted was such a good doctor, even Mrs. Johnson came to see him. You can't practice medicine in the lunchroom, she said. You have mumps, said Dr. Ted. Crutches could help. Those are my cheeks, said Mrs. Johnson. Now eat your lunch. Everybody keeps telling Ted to eat. What's up with that, man? Oh, and there's all his friends in the lunchroom watching. Boop, boop. Principal Brigham walked in. Dr. Ted could tell he was very sick. He needed a doctor. We already have a school doctor who visits on Fridays, Principal Brigham said with a smile. You have gingivitis, said Dr. Ted. You need a full body cast. Now, gingivitis is something that happens in your mouth, and a full body cast would cover his arms, his body, his legs. I don't think that's right, but, I'm not a doctor. Principal Brigham frowned. You also have bad breath, said Dr. Ted. You need a shot. Yeah. The principal's face turned bright red. And a fever, said Dr. Ted. You need a transplant. We already have a school doctor. Principal Brigham pointed toward the door. Oh my, he looks angry. We could do something about that foot odor, said Dr. Ted. Go home, said Principal Brigham. Dr. Ted was very sad. He packed up his big bandage and went home. That night, he took 2 cookies and went straight to bed. Poor Ted. The next day, during recess, Ted sat on a bench and sighed. He watched Frances Sylvester do gymnastics on the monkey bars. She was very talented. Everyone thought so, especially Mrs. Johnson and Principal Brigham. There's Francis Sylvester, Mrs. Johnson, Principal Brigham, and Ted. Frances finished her routine with a triple twisting somersault. She landed on Mrs. Johnson. Ouch! Cried Mrs. Johnson. My ankle! Principal Brigham ran this way and that. Oh! Help! He yelled. Call an ambulance! Call the fire departments! Call the library! Just call somebody! Oh no, there's an emergency and Principal Brigham is panicking. He's not going to be very helpful if he's panicking. But no worries. But Dr. Ted was already there. Da-da-da! I think Mrs. Johnson looks worried, you guys. Not going to lie. She looks worried. He wrapped Mrs. Johnson's ankle with his big bandage. He checked her vision and her tonsils. Take 2 cookies, he said. You'll feel better in the morning. I have never had a doctor prescribe me cookies as medicine, but I'm sure it works. I bet you it works. Just then, the ambulance arrived, and the fire department and the librarians. It's a good thing you had Dr. Ted, they all said. There's always room for another school doctor, said Mrs. Johnson. My work here is done, said Dr. Ted. Keep the bandage. Principal Brigham's face turned bright red. You really should do something about that fever, said Dr. Ted. That night, Dr. Ted closed his office, packed away his stethoscope, and went to sleep, knowing he had done a good job. Aw, very nice to be confident in what you do. The next morning, Ted woke up and got out of bed and sniffed the air. Can y'all sniff the air? What does it smell like? It smelled like burnt toast. That's not good, thought Ted. I need a fire truck. Oh my. Yesterday he was a doctor. Today he's going to be a fireman. Y'all should see what burnt toast smells like. That should be like your challenge for the day. Go make some burnt toast so that you know what Dr. Ted, Fireman Ted, was smelling. Okay, you guys. I hope y'all have a fantabulous day. I'm missing you so much. And Josie Joe, I can't believe you remembered 2 cookies and a bear. That's all you can remember, but that was correct. And I found it. So, everybody make sure you eat 2 cookies and feel better. All right. Love y'all. Bye.